Quick announcement before we get started. Police Stories, The Rookie Years, is coming together. The intro is done. The book description is locked in after great feedback from the cops and writers community. And we're on track for an end of March 2026 release. If you want to be notified the moment pre-orders go live, subscribe to this podcast or head over to copsandwriters.com. Alrighty then, let's get into it. Welcome back to the Cops and Writers podcast bonus series, where I'm reading chapters from my upcoming book, Police Stories, The Rookie Years, True Crime, Chaos, and Life as a Big City Cop. I'm Patrick O'Donnell, retired Milwaukee police sergeant, and your host for tonight's show. In episode 1, I told you about my first week on the job, almost shooting a man who killed his brother over the last hot dog. In episode 2, you met Grandma Moses, the sweet elderly widow, who had a cocked .38 revolver to my back while I was climbing some stairs to clear her attic. Tonight's story? It was something I wouldn't have believed unless I was there. Unfortunately, I was. Let me set the scene for you. I had just gotten off field training. I was officially a real cop now. No longer a recruit, just a rookie. That night, I was partnered up with my academy classmate, Tommie. It was the first time either of us rode without a senior officer. We were both on top of the world, feeling like real cops when we rode out of the parking lot of District 5. That would change before our tour ended. Fair warning, this chapter is disturbing. It involves a father and a daughter and violence that crosses a line most people can't even imagine. If you need to skip this one, I understand. But this is what really happens on the streets. So, this is Chapter 18, Cannibal Dad. When you get hired by the Milwaukee police to be a police officer, you're on probation for 1 year. The first 6 months are in the academy, and the rest when you get out on the street. It is much easier for the department to get rid of you while you're on probation. So you're tiptoeing on eggshells until you get that year under your gun belt. Once you were off probation, you and your classmates were expected to throw a off probation party. More on that later. I was officially off probation for a couple of days, and I was called into the lieutenant's office before roll call. As I took the long walk, it wasn't that long, but it felt like it was, my mind went to the worst. Are they going to extend my probation? Am I going to get fired? I can always get my old job back selling cars. Hell no, I hated that job. I knocked on the open door, and the late shift desk sergeant, who was the acting lieutenant for the night, he greeted me with a wide grin. Do you want a tie bar or a tack? He had both in the palm of his hand. They were District 5 Honor and Valor tie bars and tie tacks. Only real members of District 5 would wear these. This meant that I was now a regular cop, still a rookie, but now off probation. I extended my hand. Tie bars, sir. Thank you. The sergeant shook my hand, gave me the tie bar. I went back to the assembly, grinning from ear to ear. I checked in with the roll call sergeant, and he told me I would be on squad 95R with Tommie. Tommie was a classmate of mine, and we were the first two to be released onto the street together from our class. Tommie would have made a living in so many ways. He was one of the most talented people I've ever known. He was a talented artist, could do impressions, and was a gifted athlete. Probably his biggest superpower was his ability to talk to almost anyone and calm them down. We spent most of the night backing up other cops and did a couple of traffic stops that led to nothing. It was exciting and felt good that our bosses let us out without an experienced cop. At about 7 a.m., we got a call from the dispatcher. Squad 95R, please respond to 1873 North 12th Street for the family trouble. Caller states her father is drunk and out of control. No further information and no answer on callback. We both knew this could be anything from a simple drunk person to a homicide. We wouldn't know until we got there. I picked up the mic and answered. 95R, 10-4 on that. We arrived and walked up two different steep staircases that led to a single-family house. Tommie used the back of his expandable baton to rap on the door and announce us. Milwaukee police, open the door. There was no answer, so we reported the knock and announcement. This time, we could see the doorknob move, and we both moved back half a step. The door abruptly opened, and a black man with short salt and pepper hair and a couple of days' growth of whiskers opened the door. The odor of booze came at us like a bullet train when he opened his mouth. What the fuck do you two want? The middle-aged man, who was about 5'10" and 200 pounds, was wearing a white tank top that was stained with blood. Tommie and I both looked at each other with that, oh shit, look of something bad had happened here. We both pushed him away as we went inside, scanning for threats and victims. I did a quick pat down for weapons, and Tommie went through the living room. Once I was satisfied this drunk was unarmed, I put him in a chair, after I searched the seat cushions for weapons. That's when Tommie and I both heard a noise coming from the corner at the same time. It sounded like a wounded animal. He slowly went towards the sound, and I peeked my head around the corner while trying to keep an eye on the guy who was telling me how he was going to kick my ass. Tommie and I spotted a girl cowering on her knees in the corner at the same time. She was 20 years old and about 5'1", maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. Her face was covered in blood that ran down the oversized t-shirt she was wearing as pajamas. She was shaking uncontrollably and trying to talk, but the words weren't coming out. She then pointed to the front of her nose, which was bleeding. The part of the nose that should be between her two nostrils was gone. It looked like a hyena had chewed off her septum. It wasn't a hyena, it was a human. Well, kind of human. When she pointed to the man in the chair, she said, "He did it. He bit my nose off." Tommie and I both realized that the drunk, who was now telling us in great detail how he was going to kick both of our asses, bit off part of this girl's nose. It was difficult for the two of us to digest all of this. The girl was now gaining some composure, getting on her feet and yelling, "He did it! My daddy bit off my nose!" Tommie ran over to the chair, and we were now facing each other in disbelief, while the drunk dad was mumbling. We were both thinking the same thing. Her father did this? Tommie and I both realized that the father literally bit off a piece of his daughter's nose. We each grabbed an arm and told him to put his hands behind his back. He replied with a hearty, "Fuck you, I was a Marine. I'll kick both your asses." He tried to break away from our grasp that we had on his forearms. I was never happier to have a suspect resist arrest. I could tell you from the look on Tommie's face that he was thinking the same. This asshole is going to resist, which means we get to use force against this piece of shit. We both attempted to pull his hands behind his back, and this time he fought back harder, attempted to kick at both of us. No words were spoken between myself and my partner and me for that day. We both used his momentum and drove his head into the drywall. We didn't expect all of his head to go into the drywall. His head disappeared into the drywall, and we both let go at the same time, and his body went limp. Tommie's eyes bugged out as he exclaimed, "Holy shit, O'Donnell, we killed him." I returned a, "Holy shit, Tommie." Okay, now what? I thought as I was coming up with scenarios of Tommie and me being hauled off to IAD or getting arrested on the scene. After about 20 seconds of pondering my bleak future, we heard a muffled, "Fuck you, I'm going to kick both of your asses," from the other side of the drywall. His limp body sprang to life just as if he had just been defibrillated. We both grabbed an arm and pulled his dome out of the wall and handcuffed him. I got on the air and advised dispatch that we had a combative subject in custody and we needed medical attention for the girl with part of her nose missing. We got a formal statement from the victim at the hospital. She told us her father had fallen asleep in his chair. When she woke up and checked on him, he got up and attacked her. He actually chewed part of her nose off. I was still in shock and couldn't fathom a father doing this to his child. Then something dawned on me. Where's the piece of this poor girl's nose? We need to get photos of this. I took a deep breath and asked her, "When your father bit off part of your nose, what did he do with that?" She looked down at the floor and then got the strength to look me in the eye. He swallowed it and then smacked his lips just like he finished a steak dinner. Tommie and I just stared at each other. What could we say? If you made it through that chapter, thank you for listening. Everything you heard is true. The father was arrested and charged with mayhem. The daughter survived, though I don't know if she ever fully recovered from what he did to her. Some calls stay with you forever, and this is just one of mine. This chapter illustrates how quickly your tour of duty can go from one extreme to another in the blink of an eye. A quick reminder, this is part of the ongoing series where I'm reading police stories, the rookie years, one chapter at a time, ahead of the March 2026 release. If this story stuck with you, if you want to hear more raw, unfiltered true stories from behind the badge, subscribe to the Cops and Writers podcast, leave a review, and share this episode with somebody who can handle the truth about what cops see. And if you want to reach out, you can email me at sarge@copsandwriters.com or find me on social media. I read every message, and your feedback on these chapters means more than you'll ever know. Next Wednesday night, I'll be back with another chapter. I can't decide which one yet, but I promise you it won't be boring. Until then, thanks for riding along, and as always, let's be careful out there.